Storm in a Teacup is a simple and traditional platforming game that originated on iOS devices. The storyline is very loose, but follows Storm on his quest for adventure. His brother Cloud has created a dreamlike world to explore and discover. Along the way, Storm must collect sugar cubes and stickers as he travels around levels in a teacup. Why there is such a focus on this particular beverage is never truly explained, but the game is full of little references based on the theme. Charming is the best way to describe Storm in a Teacup. It is presented well with cute graphics and funky characters. Initially it seems that the title is aimed at a younger audience. The levels are fairly straightforward, players can customise Storm and his teacup, and the graphics are colourful and lively. However, it is a platformer and, like all platform games, can appeal to a variety of players. It does take some time for the difficulty to increase, but some extra elements thrown in make Storm in a Teacup a much more interesting prospect as the game progresses. There are some novel gravity shifting levels, mini-games and puzzle segments dotted throughout the game. Other elements hark back to the days of Donkey Kong, Space Invaders or other target games. While it is still possible to make it through a level without too much hassle, the difficulty is to do it in one smooth run while collecting all the sugar cubes and the additional sticker. The downfall of Storm in a Teacup is that it requires players to push themselves. There are no leaderboards for scores or level times, and players can get by without collecting anything. The amount of time a player will spend in-game really comes down to how much of a perfectionist they are. While players will lose out on customization options, the act of passing a level is enough to unlock additional levels and game progression. Considering the game isn't overly difficult at the best of times, this isn't really enough. On the other hand, there are an impressive 50 levels to play through, along with other game modes and an additional 10 bonus levels. The challenge mode features 5 classic levels, but with added challenges and no checkpoints. The survival mode blends the need to collect sugar cubes that appear with, as the name implies, survival. Again, this mode suffers from a lack of leaderboards as there is little incentive to attempt again and again. Instead, players are simply presented with the best record on a particular level. Thankfully, the survival mode is condensed to a limited time period, because otherwise it would simply be a test of how long players can put up with one song. Unfortunately, that is another downfall of Storm in a Teacup. There is just one audio track that simply loops throughout the game and menus. The worst part is that there is no change for major events such as mini-boss battles or victory screens. It is a disappointment that detracts from the experience and shortens a potential play session. Of course, the alternative is to mute the game every time you wish to play. There are minor tweaks that would have pushed Storm in a Teacup from being simply a good game to being a great game. It is a little bit quirky and charming, but hampered by a lack of urgency and its limited soundtrack. Overall, Storm in a Teacup is a fun little game to play and caters for a variety of gamers and age groups. However, unless you are willing to accomplish everything that is possible in-game and have a healthy rivalry with other local players, it is a title that is likely to see less playtime than other games.